there are patterns we can use when we're multiplying numbers by 10, 100, or 1,000, and we can use those patterns to help us do some estimating of some products, and then later on of some quotients that we'll do later. But it's important to be able to use these patterns to help you get a good idea of an estimate. And when you get your estimate, you can use that to see if the answer that you get is reasonable. And that's what we're going to be doing throughout this chapter when we're talking about multiplying. Being able to multiply is an important thing, but also being able to estimate is very important, so you can see if that answer that you got makes sense or if there are things you need to do to fix it. Alright, so when we do patterns and multiplying, just like you see some things here, pull the screen shade down. 6 times 10 is 60, and I have these two numbers in orange, 6 and 1. So you can see that 6 times 1 is 6, and then you have a 0 added on to the back. So 6 times 10 would be 60, and it's just a pattern that we have in multiplication. It would work the same as if I was going to have, if I can get a pen here, 6 times 2 is 12, and so if I was to sneak a 0 in here, that would be 6 times 20 is 120. If I was able to sneak another 0 in here, 60 times 20 will give you 1,200. So it's just important to be able to do that mentally without taking a lot of time to do it. It gives you a good idea of an estimate. Okay. As I pull this down a little bit further here, 60 times 10 will give you 600 again. You've got the 6 right there. Times 1 is 6. Got a 0 added here and a 0 added here, so 60 times 10 will give you 600. And then down here, again it's 600, however, both zeros are after the 1, so 6 times 1 is 0 behind it. 6 times 100 is 600. We go on to the next slide here. So you use multiplying numbers now to estimate those products that we're going to do. So as you look at these problems that I have in here, 802, you multiply times 5. Now, eventually we're going to want to do the exact answer, but right now we're just talking about using these patterns to estimate these products. So as I look at 802, I would round that to 800. It's very, very close to 800. And then 5, I'll just leave it 5. So when I did this, I changed this. So I have 8 times 5. And again, in the previous screen, I had those highlighted in orange. So if I was going to do it again, this one right here would become orange. The 5 would be orange. 8 times 5 would give me 40 here. Okay, so I'm just going to click in here and put that 40. Now there are 2 zeros added onto the back because I got a 0 here and a 0 here. Now it looks like there are 3 zeros, but just pay attention that I had 8 times 5 to get 40 to start with, and then I added 2 zeros to the back for those 2 zeros on the end. So again, I'm going to be doing the exact answer coming up in the next lesson after this, where we start multiplying numbers and get the exact answer. But again, you really want to be able to find out if that answer is close to your estimate. So just in a few seconds, you should be able to get a good estimate, and then take the minute or whatever it does to multiply a number out, and then compare it with your estimate and see if that answer makes sense. All right. Let's head to the next slide here. How about if we estimated this product now? So 456, and then multiply by 56. So I take a look at that 456 and round that and see if that's close to it. Okay, so in this case, I would say that is a 4 with a 5 after it, so I'll round that up to 500. I've got 500. Look at that 5. got a 6 right after it. So we round it up to a 660. So this is close to 500 times 60. When I take 5 times 6, I get 30. And then I got 1, 2, 3 zeros to add to the back. 1, 2, 3. So eventually we'll have to do the exact answer as we get into the next lesson and the lesson after. But when I get my exact answer, I compare it with 30,000 and see if that answer does make sense. Just one step further, I'd like you to take a look at what we did. We rounded it up to get from 456 to 500. Again, we rounded it up to get from 56 to 60. So this estimate that I'm getting, I rounded up to get to 500, I rounded up to get to 60. 30,000 is an estimate that is actually not too high, but it's higher than the real answer. So I think I'll probably erase that too high, but it is. When I look at 30,000, I'm going to get an answer. When I get my exact answer, I should get an answer that is less than 30,000 because, again, I rounded from 456, I rounded up to 500, so 500 is bigger than 456. 60 is bigger than 56. So when I multiply those two together, I'm going to get a higher answer than the real answer. So if I was to get an answer like 32,856, I would know that I had made a mistake somewhere because my estimate was 30,000 and that was a high estimate. Let's head to next slide down here again. 568 multiplied with 27. So again, I'll look at 568. It's a 500 with a 6 right after it, so I would round that up to 600. 27 is a 2 with a 7 after it, so I would round that up to 30. 6 times 3 is 18. I got that 6 and then 3 from these numbers right here. And then I got 1, 2, 3 zeros. So my estimate for this is 18,000. And again, this is something where I rounded up from 568 to 600, up from 27 to 30. This estimate is higher than the real answer. I should end up getting something less than 18,000 when I find the exact answer. Maybe it'd be good for us to do one where we would get one that would be too low. So I can try that. Let me just get a little slide in here. Maybe if we had 30, well, maybe even 300. Let's go 311. Multiply that times 93. See how that goes. So 311. I would round that. Keep that 3 just like it is because it has a 1 after it. So it's a 3 with the 1 after it. That'll round to 300. Multiply by 9 with the 3 after it. So that's 90. Keep that in. So I actually rounded down from 311 to down to 300. Down from 93 down to 90. And 3 times 9 is 27 then. And again with 1, 2, 3 zeros behind it. 1, 2, 3 zeros. Okay, so this is actually a low estimate. When I do my, I look at my real answer, it should be a number that is higher than 27,000. So I can use that to see if my answer makes sense. Alright, so I'd like to be able to do this on a regular basis now, just taking a quick look at things. Again, an estimate should only take you a short time to round from 311 to 300. only should take a second or two. From 93 down to 90 should only take a second or two. And so really in 5 to 10 seconds you got a pretty good idea what your answer should be. I'd like to be able to do this on a regular basis.